gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Strap in and enjoy the ride.
Alvin! My dad used to always say that you have to be a little bit nuts to do something special. He was crazy enough to invent 3 singing chipmunks that people 50 years later still enjoy.
We are chipmunks? Yeah, Alvin and the Chipmunks. Who and what now? Maybe this will help. Ra ra Roma Roma ma ga ga ooh la la. Want your bad romance?
My name's Ross Bagdasarian, and my dad, Ross Bagdasarian Sr., created Alvin and the Chipmunks, was the voices of all the characters, as well as David Seville, the fellow that yells, Alvin! That guy. He was first and foremost a songwriter. Just an amazing, larger-than-life Armenian version of Zorba the Greek. Someone who somehow the day was just a little better and a little funnier because he was in it. The Chipmunks came into my life when I was 9 years old. 1958, $200 left in the bank, a wife, 3 kids, a mortgage. In 2 months he's going to run out of money. He does what anyone else would do, buys the latest tape recorder that allows him to change speeds. Why he does that is anybody's guess.
I told the witch doctor I was in love with you.
A week later, he writes Witch Doctor. And of course, 6 months after Witch Doctor came out, he did the Chipmunk song on this machine. The minute we heard Alvin talking back to my dad, he was my hero from that moment on, because we never spoke back to my dad.
No, that's enough. Let's not overdo it. Alvin, cut that out.
So here was this little tiny chipmunk giving my dad fits.
Alvin!
The Chipmunk song was the fastest selling song at that time in recorded history. 4.5 million records in 7 weeks. If you went into a cigar shop, into a place where they had women's lingerie, they also had the Chipmunk song. That changed our lives.
I'm the king of the world! Seriously?
Alvin was clearly my brother, Adam. He was always in trouble. He wasn't that he defied authority, he figured he had a better plan.
Alvin?
And my sister and I then were jockeying for who's Simon and who's Theodore. There's been a real evolution of the characters over the years, and Janice was the guiding light with all of this.
My name is Janice Carmen, and the first time I was introduced to Alvin was probably when I was 4 years old, and I heard the Chipmunk song. I just thought this was the coolest thing I had heard, and I loved Alvin. I just loved him.
I met Janice back in 1975. I was just getting out of law school. It was love at first sight for me, the very first second. Our first date, I took her to my dad's office. He had passed away about 3 years before.
It was the most unique date I had ever been on.
When we were going up to the room, she was kind of frightened. She thought, he's going to put on a costume or something? What's going to happen?
He asked me if I thought the Chipmunks would be viable today. Absolutely. Absolutely. I loved the characters. And then he asked me if I would help him. This was our first date.
We have made fire! That's gonna leave a mark.
She not only changed the look of the characters, but she also changed the emotional connection of the characters. They became more real emotions with real kids. We were looking for somebody to do these voices of Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. Janice is in the studio where she and an actor are doing some of the voices, and all of a sudden, I hear this perfect voice that said, okay, hold it. That is the perfect Theodore.
I'll have a large order of couscous and 2 yamachi domas. Quickly, please.
And I said, Ross, that was me. And he said, that's it, you're doing Theodore.
She was the perfect Theodore, and that later created the Chipettes.
And that gave me even more of a sense of responsibility, which was huge. Ross Sr. is watching us. We have fans that adore these characters. I really didn't want to mess this up.
I'm a survivor.
I think he'd be thrilled. I think he'd be so proud of what Janice and I have done.
There's things that are universal. Love, sibling rivalry, family dynamics.
We're having dinner with the captain?
No, I am. You're staying here. I have to go apologize for everything Alvin did.
This is so not fair.
all the issues that have been around since the beginning of time.
They will get into fights as siblings do.
My precious, my precious.
But when one is in trouble,
Dave!
they're going to be there.
Oh, brother.
If there wasn't an emotional core to the Chipmunks, we wouldn't be sitting here today.
You're one of those honey badgers. Booyah! This honey monk don't care.
One of the reasons that we wanted the Chipmunks to go on a cruise ship was because in 1961, my brother, sister, my mom, and myself took a cruise ship from Los Angeles to Honolulu. My dad was so busy doing the Alvin show, he wasn't able to come with us on that trip.
Guys, freeze! Where's Alvin?
Hey, Dave!
At least Jason Lee as David Seville got to come with the Chipmunks.
I thought we were going on vacation to have fun.
Family vacations are all about fun. First, we're gonna need to set some rules.
Rules is my middle name.
We've got two great kids. Michael is 21, Vanessa is 25.
I selfishly like to think that there's a lot of me in all of them.
When I had Vanessa, I was directing Chipmunk Adventure. So she's been involved with the characters since utero.
I was the youngest, so I think I already knew my place on the totem pole. You know, I kind of knew that the love had already been handed out.
I think they know that we love the Chipmunks more. I think that's a given, and they're okay with that.
I was just hoping they'd smile at me or maybe come to my room once in a while. Didn't happen. They were very busy.
They've had a lot of years to soak that in, so.
One day, Vanessa brought some of her school friends over to the house. In the office here, there are a number of chipmunk dolls, a whole variety of merchandising over the years. Vanessa had never gone and said to her classmates, oh yeah, my parents do the chipmunks and stuff. So they come in and they see all this chipmunk and chipette paraphernalia. They look at Vanessa very oddly and go, oh, your parents really like the chipmunks a lot, huh? No idea that that's what we do.
My first memory of realizing really what they did was when my parents came to my school. I had an assembly to talk about the Chipmunks, and I was humiliated. I think I was about 7. And they said, and our daughter, Vanessa, and they pointed to me, and I was just like sinking into my seat. And then after the assembly, all these older kids were coming up to me and saying how cool it was and how cool I was, and I was like, all right, I can get behind this.
I looked at Alvin when I was younger, and he was the coolest. I loved that he had all these ideas and that he can implement them and that he was the mastermind. And so he was just like an idol for a long time. And now I think I've gone from idolizing Alvin to idolizing Dave, or just relating to him more.
Goodbye, Dave. And hello, ladies.
I'm not okay with a lot of the stuff he does.
Where are you going? To the casino. I'm feeling lucky.
Because like, Alvin, you know better.
Oh, no. No, 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 no.
You can't go out right now. You just gave Dave your trust.
Dave said, and I quote, we're old enough to make our own decisions.
What is this, man? So yeah, I get a little antsy with Alvin.
Michael and Vanessa are fiercely proprietary and protective over the characters.
If we hear something that the Chipmunks are going to say and we just totally agree that that's not something that they would say.
Theodore wouldn't say that.
Yeah,
Theodore would, you know, yeah.
Like, oh my God, people, that's never something. Theodore would never do
know
that.
Simon.
You know this.
You know this. Yeah.
People don't, but we do. We totally do.
They're very involved.
Huh? I'm gonna puke!
It would be a dream if my kids were to take over this franchise.
When I have children, I think that they're gonna love the Chipmunks. I mean, I think
Or
that,
else.
Or else. Yeah.
I would like to see the Chipmunks continue for the next, 500 years.
I think it's really hard not to have some of yourself in whatever you create.
That was so cool!
Alvin, Simon, Theodore, the Chipettes,
No, you didn't. Don't hate the player, hate the game!
they could be funny,
Ooh, she's pretty. Oh, wait, that's me. Hey.
entertaining,
Stop it! One day on this island and we've become animals! Hit it!
mischievous, musical.
With my tail.
All of that is very much part of this latest film, Chipwrecked.